Lincolnshire, a county shaped by wide skies and flat fields where the wind carries with it echoes of the past. During the Second World War, it was called Bomber County. More than 40 military airfields spread across its landscape, launching thousands of missions against enemy targets. Night after night, the skies trembled with the roar of engines. As young men, some no older than 19, climbed into their Lancasters and Wellingtons, their hearts pounding, their minds fixed on the journey ahead. Many would never return, and now, long after the runways have cracked and weeds pushed through the concrete, many believe those men are still there. Their ghosts walk the empty airfields of Lincolnshire, tied forever to the places where they laughed, feared, and died. One of the most chilling of these stories comes from RAF Binbrook, home to the Royal Australian Air Force's 460 Squadron. This base saw some of the heaviest losses of the war. Entire crews disappeared in a single night. Letters home remained unopened, bunks stayed empty, and every morning brought fresh grief. The men stationed there learned to live fast, laugh hard, and shut out the knowledge that their turn could come at any moment. But it isn't just memories that remain. RAF Binbrook has its ghost, a spirit known simply as Clubfoot. The story tells of a ground mechanic who died in a gruesome accident while working on a Lancaster bomber. Some say the aircraft's undercarriage collapsed on top of him, crushing his body. Others whisper he was caught in machinery, mangled, leaving him disfigured. Whatever the details, the legend agrees on one thing: his soul never left the airfield. From the 1940s right up to the closure of Binbrook, men spoke of the sound of footsteps in the night. Not normal footstep, but slow, heavy, uneven, a dragging limp echoing through the hangars after midnight. Security patrols followed the noise many times, convinced a trespasser was hiding in the dark. They searched the hangars, the control tower, even the old barracks, but no one was ever found. The footsteps would stop suddenly, leaving the men standing in silence, the hair on their necks rising. And then came the sightings, a tall figure in RAF uniform, pale-faced, moving slowly across the tarmac. His walk was uneven, one leg dragging behind him. More than one guard claimed to have challenged him, shouting into the night air. The figure would pause, glance their way, and then simply dissolve into the darkness. He appeared so often that the men gave him a name: Clubfoot. Some warned new recruits to expect him. They said if you heard the limp, dragging step behind you, don't turn, don't follow, because Clubfoot was watching. But Binbrook is not the only haunted airfield. All across Lincolnshire there are stories just as eerie. At RAF Wickenby, where Lancasters once thundered into the skies, there are reports of figures still standing at the end of the old runway. They are motionless, silent, their eyes fixed on the sky. It's as though they are waiting for their aircraft to come back. Farmers, walkers, even visiting historians have spoken of the same thing. Shadows that vanish the moment you approach. A sadness hangs heavy there, as though the very earth remembers the men it swallowed. At Colby Grange, another lonely station, the control tower hides a darker story. Visitors claim to hear footsteps climbing the stairs when the tower is empty, followed by a sudden, chilling silence. The tale goes that an airman once fell from that stairwell, his neck broken on the stone below, his spirit never left. On moonlit nights, some say they've seen him peering from the tower windows, his eyes following them as they cross the field. And then there are the sounds that cannot be explained. Across the villages of Lincolnshire, people speak of hearing aircraft at night, deep throbbing engines circling in the sky, the unmistakable drone of Merlin engines, the sound that once defined the war. Yet when they look up, the skies are empty. No planes, no lights, nothing but the ghostly echo of squadrons returning from missions long past. Imagine standing in a dark field, silence all around you, until the air begins to vibrate with that low hum. You know what you hear, but you also know the skies are empty. For some it is terrifying. For others it is a kind of comfort that the spirits of those men still return home. To walk across these abandoned airfields is to feel the weight of history pressing down. The broken runways are graves without headstones. The hangars where laughter once rang out are hollow shells filled only with whispers. And the control towers, those watchful eyes over the base, seem alive with memories of men who once gazed out at the horizon, praying for the safe return of their friends. But it is Binbrook's Clubfoot who remains the most feared. There are men now old who still refuse to speak of what they saw. One story tells of a duty officer who confronted the figure, certain it was a prank by one of his men. He chased the shadow across the tarmac, only to see it vanish before his eyes. Later that night, he was found sitting alone, pale and shaken, refusing to say what had happened. Clubfoot is more than a ghost. He is a reminder that war does not end neatly when the guns fall silent. The men who gave their lives violently, suddenly, often unfairly, are tied to the places where it happened, and sometimes those places refuse to forget. Lincolnshire is haunted, not by cruelty, but by memory, by young men who never came home and by comrades who still seem to march beside them. So if you find yourself on a misty night, walking past one of those old towers, if you hear footsteps behind you, slow and dragging, resist the urge to turn, because you might find yourself face to face with Clubfoot, the eternal guardian of RAF Binbrook. And if you pause in the silence of a Lincolnshire field and hear the low, distant hum of bomber engines overhead, know this, you are not imagining it. You are hearing the ghosts of Bomber County, forever returning to the skies they loved and to the airfields they never left.